What's up, everyone? Aaron Negler here, Cheesehead DV. I'm talking to the very special guest here today. It's Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook at Football Gameplan. Emory, looking at this draft class, a lot's been said about the wide receiver group. Obviously very deep. Outside of that, what have been your impressions? Because everybody's got a view. It seems that this class really is an eye of the beholder type class, where I've talked to people who, I really like this guy doesn't do it for me, and you wait 30 seconds, talk to someone else, and you get the complete opposite reaction. So what is your kind of 30,000 foot view of this class?
For me, it's always a deep class because I tend to go deeper than most as far as, grading and scouting prospects. So I always look at, guys that are 40 and 50 deep at positions. But I will say this, to me, I think this might be the thinnest flex tight end group that I've seen in quite some time. And for flex tight ends, you're talking about guys that essentially are wide receivers that don't want to block, and so they are
Right.
bigger guys that are playing tight end. And so normally you see around. I'm looking at my grades over the last 4 to 5 years. I usually have 15 to 16 flex tight ends. This year I only have 6. So I see more in the inline group and more in the H-back group that I tend to separate. And people talk about the deep class as receivers, but I think that's just the nature of the byproduct of the game that we have today. So
Right.
you're going to have a deep class of receivers because teams go 4 and 5 deep at the position. And on the flip side, you're going to have a deep group of guys in the secondary, because you now have to go to your dime, back, and he has to be really good. Safeties are now being asked to get out there and cover, so you've created a whole new position, slot safety. So
Right.
DBs and receivers are going to always be deep, but I like this quarterback class. I think when you look at the depth of the class, it reminds me a lot of 2017 with, Mahomes and Watson and Kaiser and
Right.
those guys. And you look down the line, there are guys that I believe can be legitimate QB2s with the trek to be QB1 on a football team. And it's unfortunate that, we're in this time where, we don't have the mini camps and we may not
Be
have
a lot of truncated off seasons, definitely.
yeah, exactly. And so you don't see guys get talked about. And so I look at the depth of this class. I think, man, this is a really deep quarterback class. This is a great chance for teams to upgrade their QB2 or even QB3 on the roster.
Now, you talk about the corner class and the depth there. The Packers reportedly have met with more corners than anybody else, at least virtually, as they're allowed to at this point with everything going on. Do you think that this is a year where you could take a corner maybe a bit later because the depth is so plentiful? Because, the Packers have invested a lot of draft capital at that position over the years, but it's always a sneaky need. As you say, you need at least 3, if not 4, to field a competent team. Josh Jackson can't get on the field. Tramon Williams is old, and they haven't re-signed him. So I think, and with Kevin King entering the final year of his deal, is there a possibility the Packers look corner in this draft?
Absolutely. And they have a lot of options. They can go boundary corner. They can go field side. They can go slot corner. They can get guys that could even project as a safety. So there's a ton of those type of players in this draft. Let's say, for instance, they want someone that can play the slot, but also is a good tackler. You're looking at guys that are probably along the lines of your safety. So let's say Terrell Burgess out of Utah, who's a safety, but can also get out there and cover one-on-one receivers and even also tight ends. So he would be intriguing to Green Bay because we both know that it's not a college roster. You can't have 120 guys on your roster.
Right.
So you really have to make sure you maximize the 46. So if you're able to get guys that can play more than one position, that's a great thing. So I think with that being the backdrop, they're going to be looking at guys that can line up inside, maybe play safety, can also cover, can also tackle. Because when you meet up against a team, let's say within that division, a team like Chicago that quietly has great personnel, I think at the skill position that causes a lot of strain on the defense, you have to be able to match up. And if you can't match up with guys that you have in your base personnel, your base look, going up against their base look, which guys can line up at receiver and also get handoffs in the backfield, you're going to be SOL.
Yeah, you got that right. We're going to be talking a lot more with Emory throughout this week and the night of the draft. Emory, thanks so much for joining me. Football Game Plan. Check it out. We'll be talking to you guys soon here on Cheesehead TV.